Hi, I'm John, and I'm the Jigsaw Puzzler. Today I'd like to show you one of the puzzles that I've recently completed. In fact, in the last 24 hours I've completed this puzzle. It is the Sweet Tooth by a puzzle brand called Sure-Lox, Sure-Lox, Sure-Lox. 1,000 pieces, and it is of brightly coloured sweets, lollies. This is an op-shop purchase made by a family member and presented to me after they had picked it up and brought it home. And I took one look at it and I thought, oh my goodness, I am never going to be able to do this puzzle. So my first impressions were obviously the complexity of the puzzle itself. All of those colours, there is a top and a bottom to the picture, but you could turn this around and there's not really any particular direction to the puzzle. It's not like some puzzles which are broken up into smaller pieces that you can do a segment at a time. There are no kind of borders or boundaries or anything like that. So I took one look at it and thought, oh, that is going to take me forever. My second impression, apart from the fact that the box is a little bit damaged, it was one of those boxes back in the day where you used to get a knife and slit around the edge of it, and you would invariably damage the inside box with a Stanley knife. So it is clearly one of those. Oh yes, it dates to 2004, so it's 20 years old. And then the box itself, the puzzles were in a bag, but they were in like a freezer bag that you would put meat or something in your freezer and tied up in the middle section. And there's a ring of cardboard and then a box, which is actually a reasonably flimsy cardboard box, just the corners of which are held together with just a few pieces of tape. So I looked at that and I thought, the quality of this puzzle might not be particularly good, but I thought I'd give it a go. Well, as you can see here on the table in front of me, I've completed this puzzle, and the quality is good enough that it passes the pick-up test. And any puzzle that passes the pick-up test, in my opinion, is a really good quality puzzle. As you can see, there are brightly coloured candies in a variety of colours. There's yellow, there are orange, red, green and blue. And then because they are on top of each other, some of the colours of the lollies that are underneath are tending towards more of a brown. So how did I attack this and complete this puzzle? I did this over about 3 days, including pretty much a whole day on a very cold Sunday where going outside was really unpleasant. So I thought I'd just hunker down and complete this puzzle. I'd already started it. So I did the border first. It was relatively easy to pick out all the edge pieces from this. So then it took me a little while to piece them together and create the border and to work out which edge was the bottom edge according to the picture on the box, and the sides and the top edge as well. So that took a little bit of fiddling around to get, but not too bad. And I thought the best plan of attack would be to do this by colour. There are no particular shapes or textures that you can go by, but colour is the only differentiating thing that you've got in the image. And I thought, well, I'm going to start with yellow because it's the brightest colour. The yellow pieces will pop out of the piles of pieces in my sorting trays. So I picked out all of the yellow pieces, and it took ages to even get 2 of the pieces together. But once I did, I knew that I could probably finish. If you look closely at the puzzle, each of the lollies on top has got, or even some of the ones underneath, have got a little blush on them of shine from when the photo was taken. There's a light obviously on this side somewhere shining towards the lollies, and it's left a lighter patch on the edge, on the right hand edge of each of the lollies. And that was really important for helping me to orient the pieces on the puzzle. each of the little blushes are a different shape. Some of them are quite large, like this red one here. Some of them are very small, like this little flash here on this blue one, or down here. So it was really important to sort by colour, and then I started to piece them together using these little light blushes. And once I got those, and then I had to sit with the box lid. This isn't a puzzle that I could do without reference to the image. There's no way I could do. That would take months. So I found a particular blush shape and then looked for it on the yellow ones and put it approximately in the space where I thought it would end up. And then I went through the box and picked out all of the pieces that were yellow, that were completely yellow, or 99% yellow with maybe a little tinge of something on one of the tabs, and tried to make the basic shapes for all of the yellow candies. Then I went through the puzzle trays and picked out everything that I could see that had any yellow on it. Tiny little fragments which would form up the edges and which would just piece together. So this one here with just a tab and a tiny sliver of that lolly there. And I just worked my way around, knowing that the lollies themselves graded from light to dark, lighter to slightly darker, sometimes to quite dark, like over here where it's got a shadow, and just worked my way around the entire puzzle. And after a while you could tell which way up a piece went, because it was slightly lighter on the right hand side than on the left hand side. And so you could orient the piece and then just simply look for the piece of candy that it went with. And I found there's one damaged piece that could be easily glued back down with a little piece of the surface on the tab lifting up there. But otherwise the puzzle's in really good condition. Once I did the yellow, I was going to do red and orange together, but it turned out that I just did the orange, because once I started picking the pieces out of the puzzle trays, the orange pieces were a lot brighter than the red ones. So it was easy to identify them. So I pieced together the orange ones, and there are lots of orange ones adjacent to yellow. So I started to fill in a few gaps and started to actually connect it either onto the edges or with other pieces in the middle. So I ended up with this sort of segment here all the way up to the edge here. I ended up with a segment in the middle here, sort of connecting up through here. There was quite a bit over here. Yes, and what that meant was that in the process of doing the yellow and the orange, I ended up doing quite a bit of the green at the same time, because there's lots of green next to the yellow and orange ones. I was going to do red after orange, but I changed tack and did the green instead, because I could see just how much green there was already completed. So then to pick out all of the green pieces from the puzzle trays, and to start to put them into place, starting again with the blush of light on the right hand side of each of the lollies, and then any pieces that were whole pieces that were wholly green, or like 99% green, and putting them in their various places, and then picking out all of the edge pieces for each of the lollies. And that led me to a gap with only the red and the blue to go. I did and I pretty much did them simultaneously, because there wasn't a lot of space left. I did some of the red because there was a bit more down here that needed doing, there was a bit of a hole. Then I'd do some of the blue because there was a bit up here that was gathered together, and there was this little bit down here, and ended up piecing it together, and lo and behold, the whole puzzle came together. It took me hours. I don't know how many hours it was. I didn't time it at all, and I wasn't speed puzzling it. There's no way you'd speed this one. But it did take me quite a long time, but it was very satisfying putting it together. And one of the best things about it was, of course, being an op-shop puzzle, it was complete. There were no missing pieces. I actually did expect that this would have a missing piece, given the nature of the picture and just how frustrating it must have been to do for the person who previously owned it. I just suspected that this one might have had a missing piece. I don't mind it if puzzle's got a missing piece. But obviously, like everyone else, I like it. I really like it when it's complete. And this one is complete. This was good fun to do, and not really as hard as I expected, but it did take some persistence and perseverance, because piecing those first yellow ones together was, I think, the hardest thing, simply because I had a mound of 1,000 pieces, essentially 900 pieces once I'd done the border, and I really hadn't started anywhere. I was thinking, how on earth can I ever get to the end of this? It's going to be one of those hard slogs. And yes, it was a hard slog, but there were times where I could pick up a piece and I knew exactly where it went, and that was really satisfying. So this, on the whole, a pretty good puzzle, and in much better condition and much better quality than I expected to find, especially given the nature of the box that it came in. So that's my review on the 1,000 piece Sweet Tooth by Sure-Lox.